Are you ready? Are you ready to hear some thought-provoking concepts about how we move our body? I'm Linda Gee-Hesketh, and I'm here as a mom, a wife, a grandma, and formerly trained as a kinesiologist. So the science of human movement, but also a world traveler. So I'm going to bring you concepts based in Ayurvedic medicine, traditional Chinese medicine, different cultural thoughts on movement, and hopefully inspire you to apply some of these really simple principles that are so cool, and they leave us feeling so good. And the side bonus is that we look really good and we move in an agile way, and it's sustainable and harmonious with the rest of our lives. So stay tuned. Hello, friends. I'm out here in the forest, and I wanted to drop in and mention how we create change that's long lasting is we go to the root. So we go to the cause. How can we create change from the smallest foundational level so that it will show up on the outside? So sometimes we just want to deal with symptoms and we want to deal with the outside, and I get that. But for something to be really solid, not permanent, but as close as you can get to permanent, is by going to causation. So if we have a situation that we would prefer not to have, like let's say we have inflammation, or let's say we have an upset gut, or let's say we don't have the balance or the muscle tone or the body shape or the waistline that we would prefer to have. Let's go, instead of doing a different kind of clothing shop or wearing Spanx or changing the size of your pants or wearing compression socks. Let's go to find out why we actually have that situation in our body. And the reason I like to address this is not necessarily for aesthetics and vanity purposes or vanity metrics, but more because we have a really important purpose in our lives, and our bodies are our vehicles that we use to deliver it. And so if the body isn't doing well, it's a distraction because it creaks and groans until it screams, and then we have to divert our energy, our resources, our focus on our body. But that's a very reactive situation. I would prefer a proactive situation where we take care of the body from its most basic level so that we can deliver our life's purpose and our good work and seek our joy and have the energy to fulfill the service that we're here to do. And so if that's why we should care, what we should look at, in my opinion, is we look at the cells. And cellular health is, I think it's underrated because so much of it shows up really, really quickly. So if a cell isn't happy or healthy, it shows up right away. If it's happy, it will relax. It will give you what it wants, give you what you want, give me what I want. And how we do that is we give it information. So everything we eat, everything we think, everything we do is information that the body adapts to. So let me give you an example. Um, I have a client who would prefer, no, let me tell you a different story. Okay, I have a client who likes to work a lot because they um, have a very high level of contribution in their workplace, in their work scenario, in their work situation. And that um, requires him to sit and travel and be in lots of meetings, work at a desk, commute into an office, and commute back home. And so he has taught his body to be in a sitting position. So if he would like to go for a run, his body will say, oh my gosh, we haven't had really straight, long hip joints in a long time because you've taught us that you would like us to be short and in a seated position. So if he goes for a run or if he does something that really looks for extension and full height in his body, then his body's grouchy. Like it says, okay, well, we could do this a few times, but how many times do you want me to do this? Because for 8 to 10 to 12 to 14 hours a day, 5 days last week, I was sitting. And so why do I need long hips? So then the hips are creaky and maybe not as toned as they could be. And we know that muscle loss in the hips will very easily show up north or south of that. So knee pain, low back pain. And if there's a loss of foot mobility in the bones, in the joints of the feet, that will show up in the knees. If there's lack of mobility in the shoulders or the shoulder blades, that will show up in the low back. So we are telling our bodies how to act, and then we're surprised when we have low back pain or when we have knee pain. Or sometimes people say, oh, well, all I do is sit. Why do I have knee pain? Or do I need my knees? Like, do I have to pay attention to my knees because all I do is sit? It's like, yes, you do. Because it's all a cascade and it's all connected. And my husband has this saying. He says, you pay now or pay later, and if you pay later, you pay more. And the kids used to always look at me and say, is he talking about my finances or my boyfriend or my fitness or my nutrition? Or like, what are we talking about? And we would just kind of chuckle and say, yeah, it basically applies to everything. So, yeah, at some point, everybody has their own timing to have a reality check about whether the life that they desire to live is a match to the habits that we are using today. So I think the key is to be intentional, design your day rather than be reactive. And sometimes people say, oh, I'm too busy. I don't have time to do all of that stretching. I don't have time to do a workout. Well, see where you can sneak it in. Like, carve out 5 minutes. Feel good. And that 5 minutes might lead to 7 minutes. And 7 minutes might lead to 10 minutes. But it's a matter of deciding. Because as soon as you decide, like the literal definition of decision is there's no alternative. Like it's kind of like burn your bridges, burn the ships. Like there's no way back. Once we decide something, that's a really really big part of energetic creation, because then we look forward to, we expect, we embody a different desired end result, and we move toward that. And that desired end result is attracted to us. And we might say, oh, well, all the stars aligned and there were coincidences, and look at this opportunity showed up, or I found my hiking shoes, or I got invited to this swimming club, or someone invited me for a walk right after I decided I was going to walk for 5 minutes a day. That could be synchronicity, or that could be energetic alignment. It could be power of attraction. It could be your personal magnetism. It could be the power of a decision. So, whatever we would like to call it, it is what it is, and it's powerful. It's intentional, and I invite you to set an intention for each segment of your day. So, I guess the takeaways today are that um, everything is information that we're telling ourselves. Not ourselves, but ourselves. If I'm not drinking enough water, I'm telling my brain to be dehydrated. I'm telling my muscles to be crispy. I'm telling my joints to have less lubrication. I'm telling my core body temperature to be a little warmer, and then I won't sleep as deeply. So, hydration is telling our body something. It's telling us how to act. And when we get fully hydrated or sufficiently hydrated, that's also telling our body something. It's telling us, yes, we're investing in the quality of this sleep. We're going to have human growth hormone released. We're going to wake up feeling refreshed. We're going to have the energy and the desire to actually do that exercise. We're going to have a healthier gut and be able to absorb nutrients through the gut wall and eliminate um, toxins from my body by having 1 to 2 bowel movements tomorrow, because we're properly hydrated. And if you're like me and you talk all day, we lose vapor through our voice, through our breath. So even if you think, oh, well, I didn't do anything today, yes, maybe we're talking. Maybe we did lose hydration. I live at altitude. Um, we're in the winter. We have a very dry climate, very low humidity. On a humid day, it might be 30% humidity. So, yes, hydration is something we have to pay more attention to. And it probably is for you too, because um, it shows up. Like, it shows up in our monthly cycles. It shows up in muscle cramps. It shows up in um, um, like sinuses, sore throat, swollen glands, digestion, skin blemishes, all kinds of things. So hydration has this huge cascade domino effect, and it's a simple thing, and it might not be a habit. So um, being intentional, I think that's one of the takeaways from today. Um, that everything's information, and that it matters. Do it now. Do it today. We don't know how much time we have. So I'm sending you lots of peace and love from the forest, and I hope you make it a beautiful day. If you enjoyed this and would like to deepen some of your understanding, I direct you to episode 1, which is one of my favorites. It's called Energy is Everything, and I explain some of the metaphysics of attracting what you desire, what you prefer. The other thing is Please like and subscribe this episode, and we'll get more content out to you. I hope you have one or two things that you can connect the dots with, and if so, please leave it in your comments. I'm always looking forward to seeing what you have to say.
The best way to hear more is to hit that subscribe button. And if you would like to join the community of Celebrating Delicious movement, where we can get more insights about what's going on behind the scenes and deepen the understanding on some of these concepts, there is a Facebook group and a beautiful community called Celebrating Delicious Movement podcast with Linda Gee-Hesketh. So I'll see you there.